Hey there guys, Drew here. This is a video going out to those of us that serve with security. I wanted to share a story with you guys from this past Sunday and really ask for your help in addressing situations like this in the future. So this past Sunday, Nick was in the foyer between services and noticed a gentleman who looked homeless and actually is homeless. He's a guy that comes in fairly often. I've talked to him several times, and just he was talking to himself, and Nick just kind of got the feeling that something wasn't quite right. And Nick told me after the fact, my first instinct was to walk away, to go to a different part of the foyer, go find someone else to connect with, and really just avoid that situation. But he said, for some reason he felt, I guess, convicted to go up and talk with this guy. His name's Terrence. And so Nick went up and started trying to, initiate a conversation, and partway into the conversation actually noticed something on the ground. A blade about maybe 4 inches long or so had fallen out of one of Terrence's many bags that he had going on. And so Nick noticed this and, was able to escort Terrence, out of the foyer, explain to him why it wasn't okay to have a weapon in the building, asked if there was anywhere else he could put it, that he would be welcome back into the building, but that he can't have, a blade like that in the building. And so he was able to escort him out of the building. And now, a couple of you were here on Sunday and ended up getting, involved with the situation. Steve and Jack, thank you for, kind of coming in as backup. And you guys know that it didn't go totally smooth. Things could have been done better in a couple of ways. He started getting aggravated and yelling, and there seemed to be some kind of, misunderstanding of why he was being asked to leave. But the point that I want to make is not that this situation was handled perfectly or imperfectly, but that if Nick had decided not to go and connect with this guy, the situation could have ended very, very differently. Maybe nothing bad would have happened, but maybe a kid would have come by and picked up the blade, or maybe, Terrence would have picked it up and rather than putting it in his bag, just started walking around. In my experience with this particular individual, he doesn't really seem to be dangerous, but no one else would have known that in the church, and that could have really made everyone feel unsafe and like they weren't, able to worship with us and stay safe, and that could have been a very bad situation. And so, really, I want this story to teach us two things, and I want to ask for your help with these two things. First is that as security, we need to be active connectors rather than passive observers. So oftentimes, and I've done this, we're content to sit back and observe someone that we think might be a potential security threat and just kind of watch and follow them from 20 feet back or whatever it might be. But really, all that does is put us in a defensive position where we have to be reacting if a situation does happen rather than being proactive. It also doesn't give us any opportunity to really disciple someone who might need to be shown the love of Jesus. Oftentimes I've found that when folks feel uncomfortable by the presence of someone who maybe is homeless or something like that in our congregation, it's really an unfounded fear. The folks aren't actually dangerous, but we never know that unless we go up to them and actually have a conversation. So I want us to start thinking of ourselves as active connectors rather than passive observers. This means that we need to have enough people serving with security at any one time that one or even two people could really be having individual one-on-one conversations, or maybe even sitting with folks that could be a potential security threat rather than roaming. But we need other people still roaming. So the second thing is that we really need folks to be serving consistently on security. I want to say thank you guys so much. I know that we're coming out of the summer and it's been busy with folks, on vacation and different things. And I'm so grateful that you guys have continued serving through that time. But at times it has been really hard to get more than two people serving at a time, and that really doesn't contribute to a safe and secure worshiping environment. And so please try your best to be here consistently when you're scheduled on that every other week rotation. If you can't be here on a Sunday that you're scheduled, please let us know so that we can find someone else who can step in, so that we can really effectively connect with everyone that needs to be connected with. And also, if you know someone, who you trust that you think would be a good addition to the security, the safety team, please let me know and invite them directly to serve alongside you. We'll have to run a background check and do those sort of logistical things, but it's a great opportunity also to disciple other men, to invite them alongside you to serve the church in this very practical and very needed way. So those are my two things. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you could please just respond to this email so that I know you've heard this story and that you're on board with being an active connector and inviting others to serve with us, I would really appreciate that. Again, thank you guys for all you do to make disciples with Resurrection. We really couldn't do all the things that we do without keeping our environment safe. So thank you guys, and go make disciples.